Um, I am here on behalf of Dr. Salim bin Mohammed al-Malik, the Director General of ISESCO, and I would like to present his address on his behalf as he has already left the country. Excellency Ismail Omar Gille, President of the Republic of Djibouti, Excellency Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, President of the Education Relief Foundation, Excellencies, Ministers of Education, representatives of international organizations, universities, and governmental institutions, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to express my gratitude to the Republic of Djibouti and to Education Relief Foundation for their kind invitation to ISESCO to participate in this third Forum for Balanced and Inclusive Education. It's an opportunity for all of us to celebrate the outcome of a consultative and participatory process that assembled the leading thinkers, practitioners, policymakers, and technical specialists in the field of education. And it is a chance for all of us to dream, design, advocate for, and propose a feasible, impactful, and efficient approach to education for the current generation and for the future generations to come. And as we have just signed the Universal Declaration for Balanced and Inclusive Education, I look at the world today and at our place and role in it, and I feel the weight of the formidable challenge ahead of all of us in this gathering. And ISESCO is fully aware of the complexity of the education-related challenges facing our member states and facing all of us in a world where borders are permeable in terms of access to knowledge, digital exchange, and linguistic diversity, but also rigid and uncaring in terms of conflict, instability, and the alarming rise of human influx and migration. Some regions and countries under ISESCO's umbrella, whose citizens and children in particular are particularly vulnerable to multidimensional poverty and climate change-related disasters and displacements, and armed conflict-related migration. And ironically as it may seem, these countries host some of the oldest schools, universities, and educational institutions in the world. And so ISESCO, at the heart of its new vision, is aware that the future of education lies in multidisciplinary and intercultural and cross-border approach to institutional strategies. And most importantly, it should be resilient amidst internal and outside pressures. And of all the resources available to our people, all of us, to achieve this goal, education seems to be the most elusive, particularly for children and adolescents of both genders who are fleeing crisis and combat zones. It's noteworthy to mention that Arab states region alone accounts for 32% of the global population of refugees and 38% of the global population of people internally displaced by conflicts. And humanitarian crises have deprived a generation from the prospects of a healthy and prosperous life. And 9 out of 10 displaced people live in low and middle-income countries, where educational opportunities are scarce, even for its local population. And more often than not, asylum and host governments struggle themselves with providing parallel education systems for refugee children and populations. And while the 2017 Djibouti Declaration on Regional Refugees Education commits signatories to integrate refugees and returnees in their educational systems, the unique cultural, political, and social context of displacement limit education's role to promote understanding, tolerance, and friendship among all nations, racial or religious groups, because that's how it's stated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And for girls and young women in many parts of our world and many parts of our regions, exclusion from education remains the norm. Sub-Saharan Africa remains the region with the highest out-of-school rates for all age and gender groups, unfortunately. Of the 59 million out-of-school children of primary school age today, 32 million, more than one half, live in Sub-Saharan Africa. And across Northern and Sub-Saharan Africa and Western Asia, girls of every school age group are more likely to be excluded from education than boys. For every 100 boys of primary school age out of school, there are 117 girls denied the right to education. So of all the factors underlying these children's exclusion from schools and learning opportunities, the availability of context-sensitive, quality, equitable, and accessible education is prevalent. And yet, from this bleak reality arises innovation, creativity, and solutions that seek to address the challenges and empower students, teachers, and decision makers alike for a balanced and inclusive education. So this forum is our opportunity as a community of like-minded policymakers and specialists to think through and solve together the challenges our countries and societies are facing in terms of educational system. And these are some of the challenges that I can share with you today. One of the most important of which is, how do we analyze and measure inequality in education within and between our countries? All of us here. How do we assess progress towards balanced and inclusive education and embed in the related Universal Declaration the appropriate reporting and monitoring mechanisms? How do we empower this audience, all of us today, to advocate for balanced and inclusive education among our respective institutions, governments, and nonprofit alike to achieve a balanced and inclusive education that empowers girls and young women to access the same educational opportunities as their male counterparts? And one of the most important challenges yet, how do we navigate the cultural, ethnic, and political divide to overcome resistance and the forces that promote building walls instead of bridges? This is the formidable task that ISESCO shares with ERF, with the Education Relief Foundation, and with its member states, and the international community, and all forward-thinking women and men who believe that we must leave no one behind. ISESCO vows to support and propose to our member states the tools and means to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDG 4, on inclusive and equitable quality education through its partnership with Education Relief Foundation. Because we see in ERF's approach an opportunity to unlock the potentials of millions of girls and boys to build a safe, prosperous, fair, and resilient future for all. So I reiterate my sincere thanks to our hosts, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gilla, President of the Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, President of the Education Relief Foundation, for associating ISESCO to this honorable and ambitious endeavor, and wish the Third Forum for Balanced and Inclusive Education 2030 a successful conclusion. Thank you.